There was a season I kept telling myself I'd get serious about money later. Later wasn't a plan. It was a place where I never actually arrived. And the whole time, I thought I had something I didn't. The real lie under later wasn't laziness, it was I've got time. A young man with his first real paycheck doesn't think about being foolish. He feels grown. He feels like the money proved it. The money felt like proof I'd arrived. So I spent like it would always come the same way. Earning and managing are two completely different skills, and I'd only learned one of them. I wasn't reckless. I was just sure that getting serious was a problem for a future version of me. And that future version kept not showing up. Part of why later felt safe was because I was running money the way I had watched it run, an operating system I absorbed but never chose. I never sat down and decided how a man handles what he's been given. I just inherited a default. Now, these are patterns, not blame, that I'm trying to point out. This is about a system I drifted into, not anyone who raised me. I'm not playing the blame game. I'm trying to point out patterns because they're real. So later wasn't really procrastination. It was never really taking ownership of my life to begin with. The day later caught up was when the stretch where the math finally didn't work and I couldn't pretend anymore. Time was on my side. It wasn't a crisis moment, it was quieter and worse. The slow realization that I'd been spending a resource I assumed was unlimited. And the honest truth is this: I didn't have as much time as I thought, and no man does. And the older you get, the more you realize it. And that's when a verse I'd read 100 times finally landed. Faithfulness was never about the size of what I managed. It was about today. Later is the one place faithfulness never lives. God doesn't ask a man to be faithful someday. He asks today. Stewardship begins the moment something is entrusted to you, not the moment you feel ready. Luke chapter 16, verse 10 says, "He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. And he who is unjust in what is least is unjust also in much." If you've watched my previous videos, you know that that verse gets recited so much because it is foundational to the kind of mindset that I'm trying to teach you. Psalm chapter 90, verse 12 says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." James chapter 4, verse 14 says, "Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away." Once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. At some point, a man has to stop running an inherited default and choose his own system before God. It's the same with faith. Just because you may have grown up in a Christian home doesn't make you Christian. it doesn't mean that you've submitted your life to Christ. At some point, you have to decide for yourself who Jesus is. The good news, yes, there's good news. It's great news, actually. The day you decide to be faithful, today, right now, is the day later loses its grip. One move today, not later. Name the thing you've been telling yourself you'll fix when life settles down. Write it down. That's the thing. You don't need more time. You need to be faithful with the today you actually have. You need to be intentional. I learned that the hard way. And I'm praying that you will learn from my mistakes. And that's the whole shift. A man doesn't drift into faithfulness. Today is the only place it lives. Faithfulness doesn't live in tomorrow. Faithfulness lives in today. What's the later you've been carrying? And what would it look like to touch it today? Subscribe, like, share. If walking this out matters to you, stick around. That's what this channel is for. God bless. I'll see you in the next one.